What's going on, everybody?
What up, yo?
It is
Monday.
the last Monday.
That's crazy, right? I actually didn't think about that till you just said it.
Yes.
It's the last Monday of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
It has been a hell of a ride. Monday Motivation Chat was something we had the idea of back in the summer, and we started in September.
Mm-hmm.
This is episode 16, and we've learned so much. We've met new people through this journey, learned so much through them sharing their stories and their obstacles, and just seeing the different ways that people persevere through challenges, don't give up on their passions and the things that they believe in. Last week we chatted with Mike. He is an entrepreneur. He's new to the entrepreneur journey, and he's so passionate about just pursuing things that you stand for, things that you're passionate about, creating a legacy for yourself and your family, seeing the way he is passionate about motivating his kids to kind of do their own thing, pave their own paths, and also motivating other people in his community, friends, families to do the same thing. Like, if there's something that you're passionate about, like, why not make money doing it? That way, every day you're waking up and doing something that you love. Like, why not? And he loves giving back to the community. And so that was definitely an inspirational. Every single one of them have been awesome. Mm-hmm. Hey, Pat, thank you. Like, Pat was our first guest host, and he joins us every Monday faithfully. And for everyone who has joined us, we're so thankful and grateful for sharing your stories, being vulnerable, right? Like, being in front of a camera isn't easy. Yeah. Sharing challenges and obstacles and visions and dreams isn't an easy thing. And so we just want to thank everyone who has joined us up to this point. This is the last Monday of 2020, and we are so excited for our guest host today.
What's going on, Eric?
Hey.
Nice for you to join us.
Yes.
Yeah, so definitely like she said, everybody that's been here for the chats, whether it's live or watched it like after the fact, like, huge thank you. Like, we definitely couldn't be doing this without you guys. Yeah. The reception has been amazing. So with that,
introduce Alyssa and Cheyenne of Divinity Podcast. We're going to talk about their journey into, starting this new venture into podcasting, obstacles, challenges, and where does 2020 plans for 2020 of growth. 2021.
2021.
Because 2020 is out of here. I'm done with it. I'm done with it.
Let's go ahead and bring them in here.
Hey.
Hi. Wait, are here? Or is it? No. Okay. Hey.
Hey. Oh, y'all got a mood set over there. Okay.
Yeah, we got the candle over here. We got to set the vibe.
Love it.
Good vibe into our space.
Love it. Thank you so much, guys, for agreeing to be our guest host today. I didn't even realize it. It's the last Monday of this year.
Yes.
So we gotta make this epic, y'all. We really gotta make this a good one, and allow people to walk away with some gems, some words of wisdom to go into the new year. So let's just start off on who you guys are, and give a little kind of summary of the Divinity Podcast.
Yeah. So my name is Alyssa. I am currently a college student. Actually, we're both college students. And I go to Temple University. And we kind of both started this podcast. Did we start this in September? Yeah.
But we were talking about it since March.
Yeah. Like, I feel like COVID is what sparked, like, this idea of wanting to do a podcast. Like, just being isolated from everything. Just like, I feel like that's where new ideas formed.
Yeah.
And we both kind of hit each other up and was like, I just want to start a podcast. Like, we both had similar mindsets when it came to wanting to start this.
Mm-hmm. And we would always have really good conversations too. So I was like, why not? Like, why not let the world hear it?
Yeah. And then, like, it took us a while.
Yeah, it did take a while.
It took us a while to finally, like, jumpstart it, because we had this idea back in June. And then it took us a while to plan everything out, like what our ideas were, like where we wanted to go with the podcast. But I was on my own mental health journey, like, since last year, just kind of getting deeper, like, into myself and wanting to be more aware of my own mental. And I kind of just wanted a platform or a space to be able to share my own journey. And she also had that similar idea. And we were just like, let's just do a podcast. So we started it we launched it in September, like, I think it was like September 24th. And we've been doing it ever since. And I feel like it's definitely helped in so many different aspects of our lives and help other people. And so our podcast is circled around sparking conversations, often difficult conversations about mental health, social issues, and lifestyle things. So we literally talk about pretty much everything in that aspect. Yeah. Anything else in there?
No.
How did you guys meet?
You gotta let Cheyenne talk.
Oh.
Hey, yo.
But she
Oh no, she said pretty much everything.
So let Cheyenne talk about how you guys met.
How we met? You guys said how we met?
Yeah.
We met in high school. Freshman year of high school, we became friends. And we've been close ever since then.
Yeah, we started off friends in high school. We didn't get close until sophomore year.
Yeah, we didn't get close until sophomore year, but we became friends in freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, we, like I said, we were on Snapchat, I think, when we came up with that idea of, like, doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, we literally, it was just like the most chill thing. We're just like, yeah, like, let's just do a podcast. And we're like, okay, sure. And then it just sparked from there.
It could have started earlier, but we were both really nervous and we didn't really know where to start, like with equipment, what we would talk about. So that's why it took us a while to, like, jumpstart it. But I was like, if we don't just do it, it's never going to happen.
That was a huge thing for us. Like, we had to just do it. Like, the more we thought about it, the more I feel like we psyched each other out and, like, made ourselves nervous, because we had to overcome a lot of challenges, like, in order to jumpstart this. So I feel like us having each other really helped, like, motivating each other to continue with this.
Yeah, because if I was on my own, I wouldn't have done it, because I'm really awkward and shy. So I'm glad I have Alyssa to do it with me.
And I'm glad I have Cheyenne. Yeah.
That's really dope, and I feel like definitely for I mean, mental health is something that's important in general, right? But I feel like with 2020 and everything that's happened this year and the isolation, it's definitely hit hard. So if you guys want to start and just kind of, like, obviously Divinity came from you guys basically looking for a platform to kind of talk about your own personal journey. Do you guys want to talk about your journeys to where you guys are now?
Yeah. You want to start with that? Yeah, I feel like I said, we both started mainly to be a platform for mental health awareness. Also talking about social issues, like just current issues in our world and our society that most people don't talk about on a daily basis. And we really wanted to break a lot of stigma surrounding having difficult conversations, especially surrounding mental health.
Especially in the Black community.
Yes.
And us being young college kids, I feel like mental health isn't taken as serious as it should be. So I think that's one of the reasons why, like, we're so passionate about it.
Yeah, because we don't see it, especially in communities of color in general. Like, you don't really see a lot of people. I think you see it now more, but like historically, like, mental health wasn't talked about in especially in communities of color. It was stigmatized. It was seen as, like, not real. And so it was a lot of, at least, like, growing up in my own life and seeing, like, my surrounding environment, like, mental health was, like, invalidated a lot. So I wanted to basically come up with a space, you know, we both wanted to come up with that space to validate not only our own things that we've been through, but also validate other people's journeys.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's helped spark so many conversations, and we've met so many people through this. Like, it's amazing, like, the community we're building from this. And, like, we've only done this, for 4?
Yeah, like 4 months.
Yeah, like 4 months, and the community that we're already building from it is amazing. And I think that we're going to continue to grow and just have that conversation going, have that dialogue going surrounding the importance of taking care of your mental. And I feel like, you know, I don't know about you, but this has been a space, like my own therapy session.
Yeah,
I feel like
it has been.
Like, we just talk and we just literally get so vulnerable, like, on the show. We just lay everything out there.
Yeah, not a lot of people feel comfortable doing that, but with each other, since, you know, we've been friends for like 8 years now, so
oh my god,
I know. We've been friends for like 8 years now, and so, you know, it's like we're just talking to each other. Like, we don't think about, you know, how other people are listening. It's just like a conversation between us, but with that conversation we're helping other people.
Yeah And there's things that we've learned about each other too, like, that we didn't know before, and it allowed, because we don't always agree on, like, perspective. So being on the show and, like, having different perspectives and being able to have conversations and just, like, literally just learn something. Like, we're helping each other, you know, in that same aspect that we're helping other people. So I think that it's just been a healing space, you know, for us as well.
That's dope. Yeah. You shared that there were challenges, like, in getting started. Like, how do you go from, like, how do you convince yourself, right, as nervous as you are, as vulnerable as you're about to be, how do you go through the process internally and then with each other to say, let's do this? Like, there's saying it, let's do this, and then there's actually the execution of let's do this.
Yeah.
So, like, walk us through, like, the mental part of it, and then also, like, the actual steps, physical steps you took.
Yeah. Well, I was like holding myself back. I was like, what if nobody listens? People will judge us, stuff like that. Like I said before, I'm kind of like an introvert. Like, I don't really speak up much. But I kind of just told Alyssa. Well, Alyssa kind of said to me, she was like, even if just one person listens and we make an impact on one person's life, it's worth it. And I think that's what, like, jump started it. And we were like, okay, let's just do this.
Yeah. I think we were both, like, so, like, thinking about the future. Like, what if we don't go anywhere with this? What if nobody... And I had the same apprehensions. Like, putting yourself out there, no matter what it is scary. Like, putting yourself out there, even if you have the vision, even if you have the dream, going for that can be scary. And not knowing where it's going to take you, especially, like, the unknown is really scary.
Yeah.
And so, like, for me, same with Cheyenne, I kind of held myself back for a long time. Like, I don't know if I actually am capable of doing something so scary, but also knowing how it could help other people, and also knowing, like, affirming myself, like, I can do this, I am capable. And I think us having each other also helped, because not to say that I couldn't do it if it wasn't for Cheyenne, but having Cheyenne with me by my side, and, like, her telling me, like, we can do this, and me telling her we can do this, and actually going for it has been what I feel like helped us kickstart it, because we really are each other's motivators. Like, we really do help each other and motivate each other. So, like, to overcome those fears, because those fears will creep in. Like, they creep in. Like, you, like, doubting your capabilities is, like, one of the biggest things that sets a lot of people back from going after what they want.
And I feel like that's still something, like, we haven't even 100% overcame. Like, I know that we still doubt ourselves even now with it, but it's definitely better than it was in the beginning.
Yeah. And in those times of doubt, like, I think affirmations and, like, affirming, like, what we've already accomplished and knowing where we're capable of going is, like, the biggest thing to continue doing what you want to do. Like, you literally can do anything, but you have to keep overcoming that voice in your head that tells you that you can't do it, you know?
How do you overcome the voice in your head? Like, what does that look like? Like, let's say you're planning for a show or episode, and the negative voice comes, how, like, give some tips for people who don't know where to start.
I would say I just try to block out those negative thoughts, and I try to see the positive in it, and I know that I'm making an impact in like somebody's life. So I think that's what helps me a lot. Just knowing that someone out there is listening and I'm making a difference in their life. So I think that's what helps me.
It's weird because I'm kind of the opposite. Like when I have negative thoughts or like when I doubt myself, I try to, where I'm starting to allow them to come. So if I have a negative thought, or if I'm thinking like, oh my God, I can actually really do this, I try to allow it to talk for a little bit and like hear what the underlying feelings are coming from. Like, where is this coming from? Like, why do I doubt myself? Where is this lack of confidence coming from? And listen to that voice. And then that's when I can work with it in a way and kind of be like kind of like treat myself as if I'm talking to like a child. Like, it's okay. Like, we're going to do this. We're going to get through it together. Because sometimes I feel like we're guilty of hating ourselves or getting angry with ourselves because we doubt ourselves. We're like, why do I keep doubting myself? Like, come on, just stop it. Like, come on, like, we're going to do this. But I know for me, at least, like, doing so makes me like even more aggressive and even more like antsy and angry about it. Like, allowing those thoughts to come in and really like nurturing myself and being kind to myself when those thoughts are coming in, because they will come. Like, I think that there's not one person in this world that is completely 110% confident. Like, every person has their fears. Everyone has their weaknesses. Everyone doubts themselves from time to time. So it's allowing yourself and allowing those thoughts to come in, because they will, but then treating yourself with kindness and care and kind of slowly affirming. Like, even if it's like, I don't know, like somebody told me earlier, anytime like you have a negative thought come in, just affirm like, it's okay. You're going to be okay. Talk to yourself like through that. Even if you don't believe yourself right away, keep saying it, and eventually your mind will start to believe it. Because like when a negative thought comes in, like even if it's not true, like even if you're 100% capable but your mind tells you that you're not capable, look how easily that thought can come in and you start to believe it to be true. So the same thing can happen, and we talk about this in our show a lot, like the same thing could happen if you start to believe in yourself and you start to tell yourself like you are capable. Like, over time, you're going to actually start to embody that. You're going to start to embody who you really are. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I am working on. And like I said, we're still working on it to this day. Like, I think it's definitely so much better than what it was when we started, because we're starting to be like, okay, we've actually done it. Like, we're actually here. We're actually putting out episodes. Like, we're building a community of people. You know, it's actually happening. So something that became a dream is now a reality. So now it's continuing to be consistent with that and get past those voices in our head and tell ourselves that we can do this and continue to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that you both are not the same. I think that it's a beautiful thing that you have.
We're very different.
Yeah. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And to say, well, for this one problem, there are different solutions and there's different ways to do it. And what works for me doesn't work for you and vice versa. But it doesn't make either way right or wrong. And I think
we express that a lot on our podcast.
Yeah, we definitely do, because I think me and Cheyenne work out because we're different.
Yeah.
Like, we have very different ideas that we bring to the table, and I learn a lot from her.
Yeah, same.
And so I feel like we've learned so much from each other by having differences, and not only like how we grew up, like our lifestyle, you know, our own perspective on life. Like, I think it's important to have duality and to have a difference in perspective and different things, because we both also respect each other enough to agree to disagree sometimes. So, yeah, I think it's good that we're different in a way.
Yeah.
So what were some of the growing pains you expressed in regards to the process, like to where you guys started to where you guys are at now? What are some of the growing pains that you guys experienced?
I think we're still going through them.
Yeah.
To be honest, like, I think that we're still continuing to grow. Like, we did this, we started in September. It's, about to be January. And I think that so far we've had so many opportunities come in, but we're still going through. And I feel like you're going to always do that. Like throughout your whole process of, achieving anything you want to do, you're going to constantly learn. You're going to constantly face challenges. You're going to constantly have to overcome something. So I feel like we're still dealing with it.
There are definitely a lot of challenges. Like we said earlier, we're both college students. So I work, so I have to, build some type of, what's the word?
Schedule.
Yeah, like a schedule, like to like make this work in my life, because I love doing it, but it's also like very stressful too at times.
It can be stressful.
Trying to make things work. Both of us have different school schedules, so making that work, coming up with ideas, content, all that editing. So it's a lot, but it's worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. But I would say the biggest challenge, especially right now, like growing, is like you have to, like, nobody's gonna yell at you to, like, you have to get this done at this time. Like, we have to motivate ourselves. So I think that's like one of the biggest challenges, is like you're not having someone scream at you like, you have to get this done at this certain time, you have to have this project done, you have to have this out. Like we have to be our own like coach in a way. We have to be our own, like, what's the word, like we have to motivate ourselves. And we have to, like, that's where self-discipline comes along, because you have to constantly push yourself. And thankfully we have each other where we can help push each other. But, being a student, also, like she said, being a college student and having so many other things to do and have to balance that all can be really challenging. Yeah, definitely. I actually have a question for you. Like, the same question would apply to you guys. Like, what are your growing pains that you're dealing with, like with Kill the Day? Like, obviously you guys are married, so does that get challenging when it's business and then when it's also family stuff? Like, how do you manage that, and also like individually and then together?
So there's not really, honestly, a divide between family and business currently.
Right. So because remember, we have Kick the Day version of Kill the Day, and so our intention, all out of COVID, right? Like, what's next? How do we make lemonade out of these lemons that we've been given? And what next has to include the kids. What's next has to include that we're going to do something as a family, so that we don't constantly have to choose between work, whatever work looks like, and the kids or each other. So we kind of took steps with that in mind, like how can we make this a family thing? And so there is the business side of Kill the Day, which is the fitness and training services that we provide, where I think when it comes to money and like managing that and understanding the inner workings of business, that can be challenging. That can you want things structured, you want things organized, and maybe the way that I view organization isn't the same way he views organization. And we have to, there are certain things where we don't have to agree, like we can just agree to disagree, but then there are things we have to agree on. And just kind of taking a deep breath, and sometimes you have to walk away, like kind of let things marinate and get some clarity, like individually without each other, and then come back to the table and say, all right, we're going to take a little bit from your perspective and then a little bit from this perspective and put it all together and find a medium that we can agree on. But like with Monday Motivation Chat, it's so easy, right? Like, it's just, there's just one vision for it all, and it's just to bring a community together to motivate each other. The world kind of seems dark even before COVID, right? Like, there's just so much negativity, and our vision is to just bring a little light. Everybody has a story. Everybody has challenges that they've overcome. There's the sunshine after the storm, right? The rainbow after the storm, and we just want to bring that out. Talk about the challenges for sure, because that's where the inspiration is. And then, you know, how do you get through it? Because everybody gets through differently.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that. Your turn.
So I guess similar to how you guys expressed being college students, figuring out the balance and the schedule, has definitely been something that we can relate to. It's just been a crazy year.
Yeah.
Between work, the kids now being home from school, and just everything else that we have to do, and putting forth the effort to make Kill the Day happen, to make Kick the Day happen, content creation, it's a lot. So we generally like have to schedule everything. And we notice that when we don't schedule, that week just kind of like, we'll make it through, but like we're much more productive when we sit down and like we literally have to like schedule everything. And sometimes we have to have multiple meetings because like we'll have like a lot of stuff that we need to do for Kill the Day. We have a lot of stuff that we need to do for the kids or whatever, and it just doesn't all fit into. We'll sometimes spend hours talking and trying to plan things out. I know for me personally, it was like just a crazy journey. Because I was working a job that I started becoming unhappy at, and I was really like grinding crazy hours, and I just was like, I'm doing all of this for somebody else. Like, I'd rather do it for us. And at that time,
that's our mindset too.
Oh my God. 100%.
And then, so at that time, we weren't even doing the chats. Like that was literally what, like she was already doing the training aspect.
Right.
But that was kind of like where it was like, all right, well, if that's what's going to be the plan, then like we have to do that. But not too soon after that happened, another opportunity came through, and then my attention ended up then diverting. So it's like, all right, let's focus on this. But then, you know, bills got to get paid. You know, like we have like we got a lot of stuff going on. So it's like we want to focus hardcore on this, but at the same time be realistic in the fact that we have to keep food on the table. But luckily now we're at a certain position where we're able to do all of that a lot more comfortably. Because before it was like me trying to juggle 2 jobs, her trying to juggle like 2 jobs, but also working with the kids, also doing like, you know,
my gosh, before COVID, I had 3 jobs.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was absolutely insane. But like now we're finally at a place where we feel like we can breathe and just really focus on what it is that we want to do and what we want, to how we want to have the kids involved. And that's been an amazing experience, not only just having the meetings together, but we generally sit down at the table with the kids and, you know, see what their ideas are and, you know, start kind of planning things out. So that's been good. And we definitely, I think for the new year, we're definitely going to try to get the ball rolling a lot more with the Kick the Day aspect. And that should be fun. I'm pretty excited.
The crazy thing is like, we're always like, when are we gonna chill? Like, when do we get a chance to just like breathe?
No,
right?
It doesn't happen.
And then all of a sudden we have business ideas, and then no, there's no breathing when you want a business and you have a dream, right? Yeah. But yeah, I'm like, whose crazy idea was this? like in some ways, when you don't have like. One thing is for sure that I want to get the message out there is that not everybody needs to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody needs to be the leader or the CEO. I think there's a message that is pushed out by a lot of people that you have to be the boss. You have to be the owner. You have to be like, you have to go out and start your own business. But guess what? Like, no business exists without a team of people. So if everyone went out and was just like, I'm gonna own my business, there would be no one to support those people, and there would be no businesses, right? Like, everyone has a valuable purpose. As you grow Divinity Podcast, you're gonna need someone to start taking over scheduling your guests, right? Vetting guests and scheduling them, right? You're gonna have someone. And so it's not about being the boss. or owning something. It's about being a part of something that you believe in and that you love. And when you wake up in the morning, you feel fulfilled. Like you want to get out of bed to go do that thing and be part of that thing. And that is success. Like people have died, millionaires, miserable. Millionaires have committed suicide because they're absolutely depressed and unhappy, right? We all know. We want a comfortable life. There's no problem with having aspirations and attaining something better than what you have. But that's not all, right? That's not all aspects of living on this planet. And so I want to be adamant that the message is you don't have to, success isn't going to start your own business. Success is doing something that you love, that you believe in, that you want to wake up to do, that on the days where you just feel shitty, where you don't feel like it, there's something like inside your soul that's like, I have to do it.
Yes.
I have to.
Yeah.
I love that though, because even like what Eric said, like he just wasn't fulfilled like doing what he was doing. And like I know for us, like we kind of the similar thing, like we both agreed, like we both had that same idea where we love doing this. Like that's what sparks our soul. Like like not because I've personally found not only I'm helping others, but I'm helping heal through my own wounds, and I'm helping myself, and I feel fulfilled when I'm also being able to inspire other people to do this. And we definitely you know, have big plans to take this even further. But this is it. Like, this is what fuels me. Like, this is what, like, and I get excited. That's why we started
it. Like, we knew going into this, there wasn't any money right away. You know what I mean? Like, we weren't expecting
we did this just because we knew that, like, we did this as a hobby, but really because, like, we felt like this could be healing for people, you know? And I think also, like, we did this, I know, like, when I wanted to propose the idea that we, you know, during the summertime, like, there was so much going on, especially, not even just with COVID, but, like, the George Floyd incident, Breonna Taylor incident, like, so much police brutality was going on. There was just so much going on. I feel like, same reason why you started the motivation chat, like, people just needed a place to just process things, because I feel like so much has happened this year, specifically this year, that we were not given a place or a space to process everything. It's just that it's like one thing after another, on top of how we're gonna get the bills paid, on top of, you know, life still goes on no matter what. And like, I feel like so many people didn't have a place to process anything. So like our first episode, we literally just laid everything out on the table and processed 2020 and like how it's been a shitty year, but also we've grown so much and we've learned so many lessons from this year. And like people were messaging us, like we had so many opportunities just on that one episode. Like someone reached out to us like for studio space, like so we were able to team up with someone to get to studio space, and just like the blessings that came out of this, like we've realized in this how this could help so many other people through their healing process and to process certain things. Again, like difficult conversations that you might not talk about on a daily basis. So,
and Alyssa and I are really big on manifesting, and we've realized that us together, when we say something's going to happen, like it happens for us. Like it's crazy, but like it really does. Like like we speak things into existence, and like that's how I know this was meant to be, because things are just working out for us without us, you know, having to do a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like it takes work, obviously, but I think a huge part of doing anything you want to do, like not even just a business, but starting anything you want to do, is literally believing you can do it. Because like we just talked about, like a lot of what holds us back is our own mind. Like we hold ourselves back so much from doing something that we want to do just because we feel like we're not capable of doing it. And like being able to be like, no, I'm capable of literally doing anything that I want to do. Like stuff can happen. Like that's where magic happens. I feel like just believing in yourself. So I feel like we were able to break a lot of our own insecurities, I guess, or doubts, just by together, like being there for each other and
believing in each other and what we're doing.
That's amazing. I love it. I guess in vulnerability, I think that whole self-doubt thing is so crazy, and how you literally have to fight against it. It's like this whisper that's so loud.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe you can't do that. Maybe you're not good enough. There's other people already doing it that are like, they're ahead of you in the game, right? Like you're in level 1 and you got other people around that's in level 20 already. You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to do it? Who are you to even try to be on, like, stepping in this game that other people already mastered or whatever? Like, especially when it comes to training people, I feel like, who the hell am I? Like, I love it. This is like, I love what I do. I believe in what I do. I believe in my philosophies around fitness and wellness. But sometimes that thought creeps in. And and then I gotta remind myself, like, why am I doing it? And my whole life is my own journey. My own journey of finding myself, finding my own strength, digging through the stigmas and there's like the fitness industry, there's just marketing, right? Like all the marketing advertise make you believe certain things, or make you believe you're supposed to look a certain way or be a certain way, or and there's just been such a learning curve, and also again having each other, surrounding yourself around people who will reaffirm the things that need to be reaffirmed, or give you a reminder of who you are and what you're capable of doing. Because sometimes those whispers are, it's not easily to just say an affirmation, right? It's sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes it is, and sometimes you just need someone to like I know there are times like, and as women we go through these up and down hormonal changes where I need Eric to like shake me out of it and be like remember why we're doing this. Remember who you are. Like you're fully capable of doing this. Like you're letting your mind like take over, like the negativity take over. And sometimes you need the people around you to recognize that maybe like you're going down the rabbit hole and to like literally like pull you out of it.
Yeah. I agree. I definitely agree. Having a strong support system always helps in anything that you do. Like just the people around you telling you, and even if it's one person that you can count on that's going to tell you, like, you know, you are capable, like that, I feel like further magnifies, like, even if you tell yourself you're capable. Because like you said, like, we all have doubts, you know what I mean? Like, no matter what, you have your doubts. You have your moments where you're like, is this real? Like, am I actually doing this? Like, I can't do this. Like, who am I to do this? Like, and I feel like they develop imposter syndrome really quickly. You know what I mean? We're just like,
oh my gosh,
who am I to do this? I can't do this, you know? And having people around you that's like gonna get you out of that and reaffirm you. It doesn't just happen like when you first start a business or anything like that. You like, that's throughout the whole journey, like the whole, like anything that you do. Yeah. Because those thoughts creep in randomly, you know what I mean? So it's important to have people around you.
In a short amount of time, we've built a really strong support
system. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like, just I'm a firm believer in like the higher your frequency is, the higher your vibration is, you're going to attract that. And so I feel like when you start to like, when we started this, I never thought it would be what it is now, but we were blessed enough to have random people pop in our life and like on the same type of level that we're about, like, you know, doing their own thing, like young entrepreneurs starting their own business, like the guy that reached out to us for studio space, and like to know that we have them in our corner, you know, like family has been a great support system. Like my family has never, you know, obviously like never doubted like my capabilities, and that's been amazing. It's like an extra shoulder that you have, like that you can lean on no matter what, because those days will come where you doubt yourself, you know. But to have that in our friends, like to always support us, like that is always helpful, you know what I mean, no matter what. Definitely.
And social syndrome is definitely like a big thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's also too, I don't know. I mean, we're it's hard to say because we always be like, oh, I think it's worse now, you know, but it's like as we're getting older, it's like we're experiencing life differently. So it's like this generally might have been always a thing. But I definitely feel like strongly that social media makes shit a lot harder. Because
Mhm.
it's so easy to see, and I'm putting air quotes on that because it's like you only see what people want you to see, but you're
Exactly.
seeing what other people are doing, how other people are living, and you're comparing.
Oh my
And
Yeah.
God.
therefore, when you're comparing, you therefore allow this perception to define where you're currently at.
Yep.
Um, and therefore, that's where like those thoughts start creeping in and everything. And the fact of the matter is, like, there's just so many people in this world. And quite frankly, there are going to be other people that have thought of the same things that you've thought of or implemented the same things that you implemented. But the fact of the matter is, like, we're all unique in our own way. There's something about your thought that's different than the
Mhm.
others. Like,
Mhm.
Yes.
you're always going to be that thing. And I
Mhm.
think that that's the focus of the uniqueness of us as individuals,
Yeah.
our thought process, the way that we view things. Um, and I think that's where it helps bring in others because it allows to have similar views but different at the same time and being
Mhm.
able to respect that. And that's
Right.
definitely something that I feel like not even just in this journey of Kill the Day, but just in our marriage in general. It's
Mhm.
just that we live so much in expecting other people to think the way that we do, react the way that we do. And when
We have a whole
that
episode.
doesn't happen,
Yeah,
then you
we
feel a certain type of
We
yeah.
have a whole
way.
episode on social media.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
talk about that. It's real. It's
Yeah, it
real.
is.
Like it's you're absolutely right. And like you said, social media does not make it easier because we're constantly comparing.
Especially this year, a lot of people were posting like, if you aren't starting a business or if you aren't doing this, that, and the third, then you aren't doing anything with your life. And like, they were just like making other people feel bad about themselves. But we said in our episode, like, it's okay if you aren't doing anything. Like, a lot is
Yeah.
happening. So it's okay if you just take a step back and relax and, just soak in what's really happening. Like, you don't have to go start a business right away just because, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Like, that's not, it's not right.
Yeah,
If you
like
have a job that you love and that's your job and you're
Exactly.
chilling and you do a 9 to 5 and you're chilling in your 9 to 5 and you're happy,
There's
like
nothing
what's
wrong
wrong
with
with
that.
that?
There's nothing wrong
yeah.
with that at all.
And that's the thing, like you said earlier, like starting a business is not for everyone. As long as you're doing what you love, like it shouldn't matter what anybody else is doing. And unfortunately, we have a long way to go where I feel like we collectively get to a place where you can be comfortable in what you're doing and embody
Mhm.
what you're doing and just accept who you are. And I hope that changes. Like I really do, because I'm guilty of it too sometimes. I feel
Yeah.
like we're all guilty of like seeing on social media like what other people are doing, other people that are having businesses that seem to be flourishing or relationships that seem to be flourishing. But social media is one of the biggest illusions out there.
Yeah.
So continuing to tell yourself, like, you don't know what goes on behind that screen, number one. And you might see a business that's flourishing, but you don't know what obstacles that they went through to get there.
Yeah, and people are always going to post the good, never the bad.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Understanding that and like getting out of that like mindset of comparison is a huge challenge.
Mhm.
And you have to take it easy on yourself. And like you said, we are literally all different. We're all going to provide a different aspect. There might be another, fitness business out there that is like similar but completely different, but nobody can have it the way you have it because
Exactly.
you are you. You know what I mean? Like nobody can be who you are. Like
Mhm.
that's already taken. So I think it's hard to get out of that. I think it's going to be a constant process no matter where you go through. As we talked about before, like it's not about when you get there. It's not about the destination. Like the whole aspect of doing anything is about the journey.
Mhm.
Like I don't think there's ever going to be a time where we can like sit there and be like, okay, I've made it, everything's fine, I'm never gonna have to struggle again, I'm never gonna have intrusive thoughts come in, everything's perfect. Like that's not how life works, unfortunately. Like
Yeah.
life is constantly about overcoming the challenges and facing the challenges, like facing the thoughts that come in, facing the times where you do doubt yourself, when comparisons do start to come in, and just continuing to embody your uniqueness and really understand that you are unique. Like, nobody is going to do it exactly how you do it, you know?
Yeah.
But it's a process.
Yeah, it is.
It's a process.
For sure.
Right.
It definitely is.
What are some things that you guys have coming up that you guys are looking forward to? Some of the next steps for Divinity?
We just finished our trauma series, which is a series that we decided to do for the whole month of December. And the series was talking about different types of trauma that people go through. And we thought that it was important to talk about that, especially with everything that's been going on like recently, because I think a lot of people, again, as we said, don't have a space to really process a lot of the things that they've been through.
Yeah.
And Cheyenne and I have also dealt with childhood trauma, and we've also had our fair share of traumatic experiences. And we try to give a space to validate our own trauma while also allowing other people to have their stories validated.
Yeah.
And so, especially in the future, we're looking forward to having more guest speakers on there to share their own experiences. But the trauma series is ending Wednesday.
Yeah.
And Wednesday we're putting out an episode. It's all about healing through trauma. So we talk about, different techniques that we have personally used in our own life, as well as other techniques that people can use to start the healing process through their own traumatic experiences. So we're really excited for that.
Yeah. Coming up, we have more like lifestyle type podcast. I don't want to give too much away because I want people to listen, but but we have more like lifestyle things coming up. And Alyssa and I are looking into starting another business. I don't want to get too much into that, but we're really excited about that.
Basically, we are looking to expand the podcast and make it more of a brand, something that is bigger than just a podcast. We want this to be more of a movement to help other people and be a place or a community.
And kind of just like what we're about. Like we're all about, like self-care, and, mental health, all that. So just trying to tie all of that together and bringing people more than just, the podcast. So we're excited for that.
Yeah. So really excited for that. Anything else that we have planned out? We're also planning on having just more people come in and speak and give their own perspectives. We're really excited for that because the couple guest speakers that we have had on the show, like just being able to listen more and be able to like really listen to their stories, and it helps build a community, I feel like. And I feel like you may agree, like having all these guest speakers come on every Monday, it helps build that community. It helps like bring us together. So that way it's not just, this is a business, I want you to be what I'm about. Like, no, we're coming together and we're helping one another and we're healing, together as a community of people. And it helps break that gap between this individualistic way of thinking. I feel like it just helps bring everybody together in a way. So we're definitely looking forward to having more guest speakers on as well.
We'd love to have you guys on.
Yeah, so you already know we're going to have you guys on.
Have your people call my people.
I got you. I'll tell our agent.
I have an assistant. His name is Oliver. He takes my calls. It's not always effective, but
that's funny.
I haven't seen Oliver in so long.
I know.
This was so fun.
I haven't seen him since like your graduation.
Oh, he's
oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's big. He's a whiz kid now.
Yes. I love, you know what I do like? You're the second guest that have asked us questions. I think that's fun to have like a back and forth dialogue.
I used to.
No, it does. It caught us off guard. Like, oh, we're gonna answer.
Like, can we ask you a question?
Wait, what?
No, I'm really interested because you guys kind of obviously started, the similar journey of like, okay, like I want to do this. I'm passionate about this. And I remember us speaking before, like you said, you never thought that that this would take you where it has, and like you never thought that personal training, like what? Like you never thought that was even in your life path. But I think that, I mean, like you never thought that would be like where your life is taking you. So would you want to talk about that for a little bit? Like how did you allow yourself the space to be in a place where you allowed life to kind of happen for you? Like,
yeah, kind of like what you asked us earlier.
Yeah, like how did you're at a place now where you have allowed life to just happen for you. Like you, like how did that story come about? Like being at the place that you are now.
So I think that that's like super like multi-layered.
Because
So we
the
had a
journey
lot
was
of
like,
exactly. There's a lot.
right?
Yeah.
So ultimately, you know, I was the one that was like into the fitness and everything like that, and then I was pursuing wrestling because that was my dream. Like that was my goal in life, you know, like I used to dream about it. Like it was just like I could taste it, I could see it. I would like literally have dreams of like coming out to the ring, and I was just like a little kid and wanted to do that. So I had the opportunity to pursue that as I got older. So I think that a large portion of the first few years of our relationship was kind of like me pursuing that. And during that time, Julie didn't really have, she's just like a person who's passionate about people. Like she's just like passionate about people and what people are passionate about, and it like drives her, but she never really had like exactly what it was that she wanted to do.
Right.
It was like she kind of had some ideas, but not like something like cemented. And in our process, in our journey, she did start, you know, the fitness thing. You know, it was something that she's done before. She's done it with her mom. She's done it, you know, in school, but like not like seriously. It was just kind of like
Casual gym goer.
yeah, exactly. Like working out is a thing, but I don't know if it's my thing.
Right.
Like, it's like,
And then he's a football player, right? Like he comes from an athletic background, and so especially I think I don't know about other sports, but I just imagine like football coaches are like military like thing. They're just like yelling at you or whatever. So
I definitely did that.
I'm
with her.
emotional. I'm not I don't watch scary movies. Like so that like boot camp coach thing just didn't like we would leave the gym arguing because I'm like, you're not gonna talk to me like that. And if I said I can't do it, then I can't freaking do it. Like it was a mess. And then also the fitness industry puts pictures of what you're supposed to look like, or these like unrealistic things that can happen in 30 days, and it's just like until you go through the journey of learning, not only learning like your own body, but then there's just learning what you can and cannot do, what realistically in your real life, what you can accomplish, understanding supplements, understanding anatomy and how your body works, all of these things, right? It's just like, I know that I want a change in my body. I know that I want to, first of all, the journey was totally physical. And that's where I feel like most people come to a block when it's just physical. When you're only seeking that physical change, and it's not going to happen.
No, it
right? It doesn't happen overnight. The people that you see that they talking about snatchbacks and looking like freaking Barbie dolls and stuff, like that does not happen overnight. That takes a lot of freaking work. That is hours in the gym. That is being strict on your diet. And a lot of times, like these physiques are like, they get paid to look that way. Like they get paid to have a full-time job of working out and eating a certain way, right? So for the rest of the world, these things are not realistic. And I didn't understand that in the beginning. So I have my boot camp trainer over here. I got the society and social media like showing me these unrealistic things, and I'm feeling like things are impossible. And then you come to a point where you don't even want to like, you don't enjoy it. You don't like going to the gym. You don't even want to think about exercise. You don't want to think about like eating a freaking salad. Like it just becomes where it's so overwhelming. Like you're just like, I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I came to so many points in the beginning where I was just like, forget it.
But I think the biggest turning point for her was becoming a mother. Like it was at the point of becoming a mother and then being able to see her own strength through that. It was just kind of like, wait, I'm like complaining about doing this, but like I'm fully capable of like, you know, like I just
put a human on this planet.
Yeah, you know. So then it was just kind of like, then the mental started coming in of like wanting to be like a strong mother, and then like what if something happens, and then like then it started diverting away from the physical to like just being healthy. Like what is healthy? Like, you know, what does that look like? Because being healthy isn't the same for everybody. Like we all are different. So therefore it enabled her to stop just looking at the physical of others and comparing in that aspect, but just like doing the research, because there's not just like, we're not strong believers in like a
dieting.
Like,
I don't prescribe like, any diets or
it's just like what works, like whatever works, you know, like everything, like not everything, but you know, like things work for different individuals in different ways, and then like, you know, everything kind of like in moderation. I like freaking donuts, all right? I'm not gonna stop eating donuts, but I can't just be eating a dozen donuts every single day, so I got to be realistic in that, right? So like we definitely changed in that sense. So therefore, so rewind back. Eventually, it came to the point where she started looking more into wanting to pursue more of a. It was like a, not necessarily a personal training, but what's the thing we first started looking to?
Physical therapy.
Physical therapy. So it was also physical therapy, and then you were doing like the work with like Hannah and different things like that. So therefore, she started becoming like more interested in just like health and
in general. I was very briefly a nanny to a special needs child, and so I was brought into their family specifically to help her with therapies and whether it was like physical therapy or cognitive therapies, and I had to like learn a lot of things and understanding how the brain works, understanding how food affects your brain. So she was a child that was born like with a brain injury. I can't remember the specific brain injury. And so had you left it to the doctors, they said she would be like a vegetable. Like she wouldn't grow, she wouldn't live any type of normal life. But her parents are amazing and did crazy research, changed her. Like she's now 10 years old.
She's that much younger than Dante?
I feel like she's 10.
I think she's a little older.
Maybe 11.
So she's younger than Dante?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So she's not a regular kid her age, but she's certainly not a vegetable.
Yeah.
Right. She walks, she goes to school, she has friends, she's done swimming, she's done soccer, like she's living. And her parents did amazing research, have like been diligent in her diet, and so in that journey with them, understanding how food affects your health, how food affects your brain development, it's like open a whole new world. Like, wait a minute, like we have, especially in America, we have such a dysfunctional relationship with food. And I started doing so much research. Like I've spent hours. I wish I could get paid just to do research. but like hours and hours of understanding, especially the internet can be daunting, right? There's conflicting information. Like sometimes I don't want to go to the market because I'm like, you know what? Everything's going to kill us.
No,
Everything's bad for you. Everything's going to kill us. But just understanding you just have to make the best possible choices with the toolbox of knowledge that you have. And that's it. You just make the best possible decisions. And that's all you can ask of yourself. And so from becoming a mom to being a nanny and realizing the real positive effects food have on you. Movement is so important for our physical bodies. And then committing to my own journey of wellness and being in the gym. That really, it ended up me like having to do it on my own.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time in the gym by myself, and that became my therapy. That became where I literally walked in and gave it my all and left all my stress, my anger, my frustration, my doubt. I left it there and I gave it my all. And then I could leave and do the rest of my day. And so I used to go to the gym at like 4 a.m, sometimes 5 a.m, sometimes.
Because of my work schedule.
And people will be like, well, how can you do that? And I'm like, well, if I don't,
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. You have to find the time of day where you're not going to compromise it, right? And 2, I felt like that it became my therapy. So I had to do it for my own sanity, for my own well-being. It was the time of day where I was by myself and I just left everything there. Like I just gave it my all. And then in doing that, I found my strength. Things like a push-up that I could barely do 1. I'm like, oh, I just popped out 5, like nothing. And I could keep going. Like, who am I? And I would look in the mirror and there had been so much time that I was committed to just my wellness that I didn't even think about the physical. And one day I just looked in the mirror. Matter of fact, I didn't even look in the mirror. I remember feeling my shoulders and I'm like, what is this? You know what I mean? And then I'm like, wow, like, okay. I see the progress. And that was months and months and months of me just being consistent and just like loving myself and the beauty and finding your strength, the beauty and not thinking you could do so. I remember watching people, mostly men, like doing the pull-ups. And I'm like, I wish I could do that one day. And then I just kept trying and I kept trying and I kept failing and I kept trying and I looked like a crazy person. And before you know it, like after a couple of months, I was able to do 1. And then I was able to do 2. And I was like,
even something as small as that. Like that's like perfect example of like you feeling like you're not able to do something and therefore like not trying to do it. And I remember when she had that like, oh, my upper body is so weak and I can't. I'm like, just do it. And she's like, no, but I'm not gonna be like, just do it. So then she like did it and like moved a couple inches or whatever.
Right, like
and then I just told him like just keep doing that, right? Because it's like even if you're just doing that, like that's something that you're just like you're getting your muscle used to, and then eventually she gets to the point where she's banging them out.
And there's something when you're like, you go to I wish I can do it, to maybe I can't do it, to you try, and when you finally do it, there is something, whether it's physical or mental, like whatever that accomplishment is, like no one can take that away from you. There's no value, there's no money value you can put on that moment, like that you just feel inside of you. Like I don't even know how to describe it, but like you're like, I did it. I fucking did it. And you know what? It wasn't even that hard. It wasn't even as hard as I thought it was gonna be. Right? Like no matter what it is that you're thinking about, whether it's like you want to travel and you're scared, or you want to go back to school and you're not sure, like whatever it is.
Except for the water, I'm not doing
the water. Oh, he doesn't like open water, so we probably will never go on a cruise. But like
cruises are fun.
I don't know. Here too, low key.
Cruises are fun.
I feel like
you forget that you're on the water.
I feel like just the ocean, it's like the vastness, like
Nah, you forget. Like once you're on a cruise ship, like you just forget like you're on a body of water because there's like so much happening.
They did not forgetting Titanic. They were fully aware.
I don't know. I'm Eric. I'm low-key scared of the ocean too, so I understand. I'm low-key scared.
I'm a Cancer, so I love the water. So
yeah, I don't know. I'm low-key scared. I don't know. But
I'm
no,
Invisible.
that's absolutely right.
Thank you. That's Katie. Thank you for agreeing. Katie, it looks like she
Agrees
agreed.
with you and Alyssa?
I think she does. I hope she.
All right, who are you agreeing with? We need to know who you're agreeing with. So the episode that's gonna be released on Wednesday, what number is that?
I want to say maybe like 15 or 16.
14, 13.
In that range.
14.
If it's 16, that's gonna be weird because you guys are episode 16 with us right now. That would be so crazy.
I don't know. I really don't. I'm actually tempted to like check. I don't know.
Check real quick, but I think it's to me like 14, 15, 16.
Yeah, 13 to 16.
14, 15, or 16 from the first one, and it's 14, 15, 16 from the moment where you had the idea. So you were like, "Oh, I'm not sure if we could do it," and you freaking did it. You freaking are on episode.
And I'm saying how like that's amazing how like you can apply your story to anything in life, like because we literally are our biggest, like you said, our mind, and I think that's another thing to say, like with physical health, it's, would you agree that it's like 80% mental and 20%? Because
oh my God. No, let me tell you how crazy this is. This man, it was in the summer. I carried him across my lawn. So my lawn is about 6 feet long. How?
6 feet long?
It's,
you're talking about from like the hill to
like, okay, like.
It has to be like a good like 25 feet.
25? Okay, my guesstimations are not good at all. But anyway, he's like, you can pick me up. And I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? Like, I'm 5'2", you're 6'3". Like, I don't even know how, like, there's no way. He's like, you're strong enough to do it. Like, as long as you, like, the proper way, like, to grab me, you can do it. And I'm like, you're out of your mind. Like, I'm not. First of all, I'm not gonna, it's summertime, everybody's outside. I'm not gonna make a fool of myself. And like, I feel like it's not possible. Like, you're heavy, you're huge. Yeah. And he finally convinced me, and I was able to walk him across our lawn. And I still can't even believe it. And it's just like, our brains are so powerful. And so if they are powerful enough to convince you of so many lies, so many doubts and fears that you can make real, why not make the good stuff real? Like, why not start to convince yourself of the good stuff?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because our thoughts, I feel like our thoughts really create our reality. Our perception really creates our reality. Like, if you tell yourself you can't do it, you can't do it.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to
Simple as that. Because you've already convinced yourself that you can't. You've already accepted that you can't do it. But once you start to believe, like literally, like we said, when we started to believe that we could do it, look at where we are now, and we're gonna continue. Like, I firmly believe we're gonna continue to keep going with this. I firmly believe that you guys are gonna continue to grow. Like, literally believing in yourself is 80% of the work. Just believing. The other 20% is application, like applying that belief and really putting in the work to make it happen. Same thing as like working out in the gym. Like, 20% is putting in the actual work, because our bodies can do it. Like, our bodies are so beautifully strong and capable of doing anything. But that 80%, like, that'll make or break. Am I going to go to the gym today? Am I not going to go to the gym? Am I going to like actually try this out? So that's huge. Like, I think our minds are really powerful in that way, for sure.
For sure. Oh my God. I wonder why. I wonder why we were designed that way. Have you guys watched the movie Soul?
No.
The one that just came out on
What is that movie about? That movie looks really interesting.
No, don't tell her. You need to see this movie. And there's this one part. It's like a quick little clip, and basically before the part where like the souls that haven't been born yet, they like give you character traits up there, and they kept sending the souls to Insecure and self-doubt or something were the characteristics, and then the other little character was like, maybe we should stop sending so many there. And I'm like, yo, is that really what's happening? Like, the universe is pre-programming us, like we're just gonna like make you self-doubt, make you insecure, and just see how you're gonna figure it all out.
That would be wild if that's the case. But you know what I also feel like? I feel like as kids, we are fearless.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like kids are really fearless. And I feel like when we were kids, we knew we could do anything. And somehow we grew up with conditions and with society telling us certain things. Yeah. And we started to like believe, like our brains like started to rewire into like automatically thinking of the negative or automatically doubting ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I feel like part of my healing process as well is going back to that child state of like being fearless and doing anything. Like as kids we have so much imagination, like, and I feel like even for you guys, maybe you could even speak on that, like having kids and how having children really inspires you to keep going with this. Like just seeing the youth, seeing like their younger, like basically reminding yourself of your younger you. Like what would you want to tell your younger self about, you know, being able to accomplish anything? You know what I mean? I feel like that's really something that we should all achieve to get back at like that childlike
because when kids
state.
Want to do something, they go
They're
ahead
gonna
and
do it. Like
nothing holds them back.
My nephews are wild. Like they will jump off like high building, like not buildings, but like
the couch, Alyssa, the couch.
Yeah, like they'll literally jump off and just be fine. Like they'll have little scrapes, they'll brush it off, and they'll be cool. Like they're just fearless. Like it would be amazing if we all could get back to that state of just imagination and like really believing that you could just do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know what everybody else's experience was, but I know for me myself, like my dad, like he did a lot for me and my brother, like coming up, but I think like just with being busy, being a single father, like, you know, those extra little conversations about kind of like going through high school or, you know, dealing with people never were really had, right? It was just kind of like things that I needed to experience myself. But I make sure that I definitely have the conversations with my kids, especially like our oldest, because it's just like when you're going through, like you brought up a good point about like kids being fearless, and then at some point you start doubting yourself. It's like because like people are telling you like, oh, that's whack, or this is corny, or you shouldn't dress that way, or you shouldn't, you know, like, and you're just like trying to like find your place in this world, and then you think you find it in high school just to graduate to realize you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And I'm like, I sit back and I reflect on things, and I'll tell like, you know, Dante, like, just be you. And I think that that's like something I really love about him is that he's just him. Like he's gonna dress how he wants to dress, he's gonna be how he wants to be. And I'm like, just be you, right? Because like I went through a time where it was like you had to dress like this, and like you had like 6X shirts, and like, you know, if your shirt was just like an extra large, it was too tight, and it was this and it was that, and like, you know, all this stuff. And then now you look at fashion now, and it's just like, if I would have dressed like that back in like 11th grade, I would have been clowned so hard, you know. And it's just crazy, just the transitions, and so that's like where I feel like the societal social aspect of things, it's a gift and a curse, right? So there's a lot of negative that comes with it, but at the same time I feel like there is a lot of positive, because one thing I can say now is that there are a lot more people that are just themselves, right? Like there's like, you have like people who are like hardcore rappers that like don't look like hardcore rappers, right? Because like their perception of like what a man should look like or what a rapper should look like. And then the same thing for women, right? There's a lot of strong women that are just like them. You know, they're not walking around in a business suit. Like if they want to be sexy, I'm going to be sexy, and I don't care what you got to say about it, you know? So I think in that essence, there has been the good, because it's like now you're seeing it readily, it's being accepted. So it enables people to more freely come out of their shell. And I know like when I was teaching, there was like plenty of students that would come in my room, and I'm just like, and nobody would be like affected by the way that they're dressed, the way that they're acting and everything. And everybody's just kind of like chill. And, you know, you have this kid busting with this kid and that kid busting with this kid. I'm just like, wow, like I wouldn't have thought that just the way that I was in school and like the way my school was, that would be a thing. And it's like, here they are. It's just like this melting pot of people. And I love that. Like, I love the uniqueness of people. And I don't know. I feel like that's where, I don't know, like we can have like a conversation for hours and hours and hours and hours. We definitely have to have a conversation more so like kind of like talking more about our journey, because that was one thing that definitely hit me this year was teaching. Like that was just never something that I did and I ended up doing and I fell in love with. So just seeing that, it's very important. It's very important. And we need to kind of get back to that mentality of kids, being realistic in the sense of like, I can't just go out doing whatever I want to do because there's
Right,
going to be but definitely, and I feel like there's always been like those things, right, where you'll see like the Christmas movies and stuff like that, like you just lost your hope or you just lost your whatever. They're just like, the parent that's trying to like get that mentality back and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think we definitely need to like find that inner child again and just like dream. Like we used to dream and just like dream. Like, stop being robots and just doing, things just to get by, like we said, like you don't have to be a business owner. You don't have to be a CEO. If you want to work, you're working a 9 to 5 and you're working a 9 to 5 in a company that you love and that you believe in. You're working in a position that you believe in, because not everybody can be leaders. Like it takes teams of individuals, and everybody has a role to play in this world. And if you feel like you're not playing the role that you're meant to play, then find it. Like then go do it. But don't let people deter you, because you made a good point about like seeing all those things like, oh, what are you doing? How much money do you have in your bank account? You're broke. You're this, you're that, and everything. You'll see them all the time. You need to invest in this. You need to invest in that. You need to be your own businessman. Like, stop doing it. And it's just like, how about you tell me not how to live? Like, I don't want to hear it. Like, it's just like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
We are trying to tell each other how to live our life. And I think that we do it because there's something in us that hasn't fully lived authentically within ourselves. I feel like we project a lot of our own insecurities onto other people a lot of times. And I feel like no matter what you're doing, like as long as you're doing you, like doing what makes you happy, what fulfills your soul, and as long as you're not hurting anybody in the process, like why does it matter? And I think that like when I say like get back to that inner child, I feel like that's one aspect that we can embody with children. Like when kids are young, they're just themselves. Like kids are brutally honest with you. Like they're just themselves. Like they have this innocence about them that is free and fierce and beautiful. And I think that we can learn a lot from getting back. We do have responsibilities. We do have obligations. There are certain things that are expected of us per se, depending on the roles that we have in our life. But I think that overall, it's a blessing and a curse, as you said, like this new era of like, people are just authentically themselves, but also in that same aspect, it creates a whole new set of comparisons that people make of who they're supposed to be in this life. And we talk about that on the show all the time. Like this whole expectation of who you're supposed to be in this world, or like, what is it, like, what are you supposed to do in this world? Or like, if everybody's doing it, then you have to be that type of way. But like, honestly, like, get back to that child state, live the life that you want for yourself. Like live your dreams, like just be fearless, like be mentally free, because it creates so much I feel like agony, like in your soul, like agony within yourself when you're not like you can feel it. I feel like we're still young, but I feel like you can feel it even in your soul, no matter how old you are, if you're not doing something that you feel like is meant for you. You feel it. If you're working a job, even if it's like your little high school job, and you really like, that this is not where you want to be for the rest of your life, you feel it. Like, you feel when something's not right for you. You feel when you've reached your season. You feel like when you've reached your time that this is not what you need to be doing anymore. You feel it. You know what I mean? And I feel like if we all just continue to trust that and embody that, and continue with that fearless, like, type of outlook on life, I think that us as a collective would be so much more advanced in like what we're doing, but happier, just really just happier. You know what I mean? Like, what sparks your soul? Like, what are you going to do that provides significance in your life? And it doesn't, like you said, have to be something so big and grand. Like, What are you going to do that fulfills you?
Yeah.
And with that, like, you might have multiple purposes in your life. Your purpose it's not, I'm a firm believer in, like, you don't have just one purpose.
Right.
I think purpose could be as small as your purpose today is to bring a smile to someone's face. That's your purpose. Like, or your purpose is to get out of that job that you hate so much. Like, that's your purpose for today. Or your purpose was to give that person $1 because that person can now eat something. Or your purpose can be to start your own business. Like, I feel like we have multiple purposes in our life. And I think being open with that can, again, alleviate so much pressure to achieve just one purpose and achieve just one thing in our life, you know? Because we always think that, you know, like, you have to just do one thing. Like, you know, what is my purpose in this world? Like, what am I going to bring to this world? This one thing that's going to make me successful. But I think that's a weird way to look at it, in my opinion, you know?
Right. I think there's just thing of seasons, right? Like, who you are right now isn't who you were last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then who you are right now isn't who you're going to be next year. What you like to do, you may not like to do it a year from now. And, like, that's okay. Like, if for whatever reason, like, Monday motivation class we don't find fulfillment in it, then we just gotta move on, because what's the point of doing it if there's no fulfillment? Like, what's the point of doing it just to do it, or because you feel like an expectation to do it?
Yeah.
I agree completely.
I agree with that too.
Now.
Huh?
So we're gonna ask the final wrap-up question, and so you'll both answer separately.
Okay.
All right. So what is your advice to anyone that's watching, anyone that's going to watch, anybody that wants to pursue their dreams? What is it that you do to kill the day every day?
I would say express gratitude for what you have in the moment, because I feel like people as a collective, they don't tend to, you know, they tend to just forget to be grateful for what they have, and, like, because what you have right now can be gone in a second. So I think, you know, just being grateful for what you have every single day, and, you know, expressing that, that's what I do.
I agree with that. I didn't want to use the same thing, but like, okay. No, I'm gonna say my own thing, but just to piggyback off of that, I do agree, because I feel like oftentimes we want so bad to have a different life, you know, like, we're dissatisfied with what we have right now, and we're like, when I get to this place, I'm gonna be happy. When I get that new job, when I get that new car, when I move out of my parents' house, I'm going to be set, I'm going to be happy. And I think that wanting so much of your life without accepting the blessings that are already there, it just leaves you with lack. Like, it leaves you wanting, and you're never going to be happy that way. I feel like nothing's ever going to fully satisfy you in your life, because when you get that car, you're going to want a better car. When you get that house, you're going to hate your house that you have now, and you're going to want something more. And it's going to keep giving you this thing of, I need more. Yeah. But I think that when you are grateful for what you have, and you are grateful for the lessons that life is teaching you in this moment, abundance can come your way in so many different forms. So I feel like no matter where you're at in life, like, staying grateful is one way that you can kill the day. But to use my own, I think that being honest with yourself, I think that being true to yourself is one way that you can conquer anything and kill the day every day, by being honest about who you are and learning how to balance who you are. Because I think that a lot of times we are striving to be someone that we're not. And a lot of times we don't know who we truly are, because we're constantly being told who we are by society and by others. And I think that understanding who you are and living in your truth, like we say all the time, live your truth, is one of the best ways that you can, no matter what you do in life, that you can kill the day.
Love it. Thank you guys so much. So much. This was so fun.
Yes, thank you for having us on. We were so excited to do this, and we can't wait to have you guys on.
Yeah, for sure. Let
Yes,
us know.
let us know. I definitely feel like an umph of motivation. And thank you guys for just being vulnerable and being real. It's not easy to have these conversations. So thank you so much for your time, for sharing your journey and your story. Everybody who's watching or who will watch, remember to check out Divinity Podcast wherever you get your podcasting in. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment on the podcast, and the next episode is going to be released on Wednesday. What time Wednesday?
Wednesday at 12.
12 p.m.
12 p.m. 12 p.m. 12 p.m.
12 p.m.
Midnight?
Huh?
No,
No, not midnight. Not midnight.
12 in the afternoon.
Okay, a little lunch. Lunchtime.
Yes, 12
Thank
in the
you
afternoon.
so much. We
Thank
love
you
you guys.
so much. Have a good
Um,
night.
Yes.
Always remember, kill the day, every day.
Yes.